So I've been saying for a while now, you gotta get out of these cities, and it probably goes double for a place like Chicago. A place that has some of the highest violent crime rates throughout the entire country. Right now, of course, has mass looting, and obviously has been ran by Democrats for almost 100 years now. Terrible violations of Second Amendment rights, so when these gangs do show up, you can't protect yourself one bit. And now, what are they focused on? Of all the things you could try to fix about Chicago, what are they trying to focus on? Abolishing gendered bathrooms in public schools for more trans inclusion amid struggles to maintain student proficiency. Because nothing will help student proficiency that's happening in Chicago like abolishing gendered bathrooms. But this is what they've decided to focus on, gendered bathrooms, because of course, that worked out so well in Virginia, didn't it? Where we allowed a trans individual into a woman's bathroom, and what happens? He sexually assaults a girl, and then what do you know? They try to cover it up, send him to a different school where he then assaulted another girl. You know, we know where this goes. We know where this goes 100%. And this is even a bigger issue than that. Really, to be honest, really even a bigger issue than that is what this does to the minds of the children. And what I mean by that is we wonder why we have such a mental health crisis in this country, while at the same time asking them to ignore reality, telling kids to ignore reality. And I know what the leftists are going to say. They always say, you know, gender, sex, you know, they're two different things. You just got to understand they're two different things. No, they're not. We know they're not. The people who transition know they're not. If they thought gender was completely separate from sex, they would not be taking hormones to replicate sexual characteristics of someone of the opposite sex. There'd be no need for a girl to take testosterone to try to grow a beard like a man, because that's a sexual characteristic. And if gender is completely separated from sex, there is no need to have any of this in order to present as a man, because man is a gendered term according to them. Now, obviously, according to the dictionary, it's not. Woman and man are defined as adult human male/female. But that's the way they want to define it, and that's the way they're trying to change definitions. But kids, you know, kids are harder to fool than people think. They understand there is a reality to the world. They see the differences. For one, they probably engage with each other on, you know, more of a level than we do half the time. So, you know, boys can sit there and play outside and see the differences between a girl and a boy very easily. They understand these differences. So now when we tell them there is no difference, it's going to start messing with their mind. It starts warping their sense of reality. And it's kind of funny. Right now, I'm going through Thomas Sowell's book, Vision of the Anointed. And I'm possibly doing a book study on the book. You know, I've done a lot of book studies on more business-related books for other companies. But I decided I might do a book study on a political book for the channel. Maybe around Christmas time, we'll see. But around early on in the book, when talking about the collapse of society, one of the things he says that I've highlighted here is typically there has been an additional and crucial ingredient, some method by which feedback from reality has been prevented so that a dangerous course of action can be blindly continued to its fatal conclusion. Now, I am not saying that having kids use gender-neutral bathrooms is going to result in a mass, just, you know, travesty to take place in America. What I'm saying is a symptom. I'm saying telling people to disengage with reality is an awful thing to do. And it's no surprise right now we have so many people on so many drugs just to cope with the sheer fact of existing. Who are the people who, of course, who are the most secure in who they are, who don't have to take tons of drugs to just barely make it through their day-to-day life? It's typically going to be your Christian conservative family with a normal, you know, kid just living their normal life. The people who have very traditional values because they live in reality. While people on the left, of course, have to make up their own fantasy and find some way to incorporate it into reality. Now, I'm not saying, of course, if you take drugs that, you know, that you're inherently, you know, a lefty or messed up in the head, all right? There's a lot of people who might need it. Depression, you know, there's chemical reasons for depression at times, in which case you need to take it, all sorts of stuff, 100% agree. But I think it's worth saying that we right now have a higher case of mental illness than ever before, and it's for a reason. And this right here is a symptom of it and is going to help it fester even more. So let's go a little bit into this here. You know, they have a video down here as well that they made for just this. So let's actually watch a bit of what they have to say on this issue. And I'll make sure I mute my mic here.
Taking steps to create more inclusive and supportive schools. One change that will be implemented this school year relates to our school bathrooms. In compliance with new federal guidelines, all CPS students and staff will have fair and equitable access to bathroom facilities that align with their gender identity. We will be providing all schools with updated signage that makes our bathroom.
Real quick, just wondering that they all just kind of have the same word on it. What's the point of all the different, like, what's with the duck mixed with a dolphin or a whale? I don't understand that. But they all just say gender neutral washroom. Like, why not just have one sign? Why create a dozen of them? It makes no sense. Either way.
Bathrooms more inclusive. It will identify the fixtures available in each restroom and make it clear that all restrooms are open for use by anyone who feels comfortable. Staff will continue to have staff-only restrooms available to them. This is an incredibly important step to increase gender equity for all, which is why we will be requiring all schools to post this signage by December 1st of this school year. Our district's Office of Student Protections in Title IX.
Okay, real quick, they of course use that buzz term, equity. No one, you should never want equity. Anyone who ever says they want equity is almost evil, right? Because then at the end of the day, equity is the equal outcome for everyone, which is an evil ideology. If I do nothing and you work your butt off, if you work every single day and you are just putting in the hours, putting in the effort, putting your all into it, and I don't do jack, yet at the end of the day we get the same thing, that's a bad thing. That's an evil thing for me to demand equal treatment when I have not done the work you have done. So equity is already an evil ideology in itself. Obviously, you know, this right here, hey, look at this sign here, Girls Plus. This restroom has stalls. All who feel comfortable are welcome to use this bathroom. So why does it even say girls, is what I want to know. Why not just say bathroom? Why not just say restroom? All who are, just say restroom at that point. I don't, this is all complete nonsense. This is all just people disengaging with the reality of this world.
IX is also working on a long-term plan to create more permanent signage for our bathrooms.
I encourage you to visit our website at cps.edu.
Okay, so that's just them telling basically how you can contact them and all that, which, you know, maybe, yeah, slash, yeah, so, you know, if you're looking how to contact them, there you go. But this right here, so they have something down here, again, to kind of go through each of the signs. This is a gender neutral restroom with multiple stalls. It is open to users of any gender identity or expression. Men plus, like we said, women's plus, same deal. There's no point in it. It has both urinals and stalls. Why not just put some urinals in the women's bathroom? I mean, for all you know, someone who is a male might identify as a woman and need to go use the bathroom. Why not have some urinals in there for them? It doesn't make sense not to. Now I do love the with just multiple stalls, just gender neutral and Joe. Like, what was that episode of South Park where Cartman just identifies as non-binary, so he gets his own bathroom? Like, I feel like that's what that's just gonna end up being. But it's interesting. So down here, they talk about on the Chicago Public School website link. The video points out there is an online complaint form to report sex and gender-based discrimination, harassment, and other forms of misconduct. It apparently is needed. A watchdog group said the Marine Leadership Academy High School in Chicago has called Child Protective Services 22 times since 2019 about sexual misconduct allegations. So it's definitely not a good place to be right now. Again, and Chicago's just terrible. Chicago's just awful. But again, pushing this ideology on children. You know, I'll say this again. If you're 18 plus, I'm mostly libertarian. If you want to lop off your thing down there and get yourself, you know, a nice rack, you know, by all means, do you. All right, you do you. I don't care. I think you're, you know, a couple screws loose and there's a better way to handle what's happening to you. But you don't have to listen to me. You don't, all right? You're 18 plus. You can make this decision on your own. You're an adult. Once you're an adult, I have no problem you doing whatever the hell you want to. My problem is in public spaces as well as with children to push this nonsense ideology, push this sort of, this, again, detachment from reality. That is my issue. Because, again, you're telling kids not to believe with what they see with their own eyes. You're telling them just to see nothing. To just Well, this is worse. They sit there and criticize religion, saying it's just nothing but telling them, to ignore the outside world and only focus on this belief structure. But that is exactly what these people are doing to these poor children. They're telling them to ignore everything they can see, everything that can be proven, and instead believe in this idea of just gender fluidity, which again is nonsense. We know it's nonsense. It's never really been a thing. This is only a recent thing. Don't get me wrong, trans individuals have been across all history, but this idea that we are now as a society going to believe there is no differences between man and woman is a new concept, and it's new for a reason, because it's just totally outrageous. This sort of ideology, of course, only happens towards the ending of a society. So you see debauchery of all sorts start happening towards the end of any great society, and I feel like that's where we're starting to head on when we have just detachments from reality such as this. You have just the constant, sex culture we have today, the constant addiction to things like pornography, which is, you want to talk about things that are really affecting young men in society. I would gladly say the addiction to pornography might be one of the worst addictions out there. I would say the addiction to pornography, if you could break that addiction among men, you would have a bigger impact than the addiction to any drug out there. Okay, I'm not saying it shouldn't be. I'm not saying it should be illegal exactly. What I am saying though is it is one of the biggest issues young men face currently in today's society. But with all the things going on, it's hard to say we're not at the collapse of the Roman Empire. It's hard not to believe this. Now the good part is we're still in a phase where we can fight back. We can still fight back, and this is only happening mostly in blue areas. It's only happening in places like Chicago, which is why it's so important. Listen, if you're a Republican and you live, not even a Republican at this point, I don't care if you're a Republican, actually, if you just believe in individual values and reality, and you live in a place like Chicago, New York, LA, leave and come to places that are, like Texas. I'm here in North Carolina. We're a bit purple at the moment, but hey, some more people coming in here that actually believe in reality would really help out a lot. Go to places like Tennessee, New Hampshire's, and they have that free state project going over there where a bunch of libertarians are. Hey, fantastic, right? Start moving to these places, and also stay away from the cities. Admittedly, I'm close to a city, so I guess I need to move further away myself. But at least I still live on the fringe. I never go into the city. I've only lived here for 2 years. I think I went downtown one time, and that was it. I went and took my wife out on a date to some coffee shop she really liked. That was one time. And it's the only time I've been to downtown Charlotte since I have been here for over 2 years at this point. So leave the cities, get out of them. Stop giving them your attention. Stop giving them your tax dollars, and stop letting them do this sort of stuff to your children. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Listen, if you have enjoyed this video, really a thumbs up, really appreciated. It really does help out the channel a lot. When you hit like on a video, it pushes it out so other people can see it. So please like this video, as well as, of course, comment below. What do you think needs to be done at this point with these schools? Should we just all, again, I say we should all get up and leave these cities and move and, really unify some areas so we can really make a good stand. But what do you think? Of course, leave in the comments below as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You've watched this far, you clearly like it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be talking again real soon.